everyone. Welcome back to the yet another episode of the Forcetalks webinar. This is Pooja Roy. I am head of marketing at Forcetalks, and our today's guest is Mr. Rupesh Bhatia. Rupesh is a Salesforce MVP who has also been a Trailblazer DX 2022 speaker. And Rupesh has been helping all the Salesforce enthusiasts out there in all the possible ways for a long time now. With that being said, thank you so much, Rupesh, for joining us at the Force Talks webinar. We are truly honored to have you with us.
Thank you, Pooja, for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. So, Rupesh, how about we start with your inspiring story? Like, how did you get into the Salesforce ecosystem, first of all? Like, how did you start your Salesforce journey? Was it a part of your plan all along or just came up in the plan? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've kind of blogged my whole journey from Caesars to Salesforce. It's called as Caesars to Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that destiny had a bigger role to play in all of this, right? So I kind of grew up to a family of barbers. My father is a barber, right? So I kind of started learning barber skills at his shop while completing my education, right? As destiny would have it, I kind of got myself into an engineering college, completed my engineering, took up the first job, whichever I got it, right after my college, to support my family financially. After working in the .NET space for close to 4 years, I was kind of looking at the marketplace, and there was a lot of competition out there, a cutthroat competition, at least in the .NET space, in the developer community, right? So that's where I decided I'll take a switch and I'll get into an organization which was ready to train me onto an ERP product. And they kind of asked me to, okay, sign up for 2 years and we will train you and we'll make you an expert in this particular product. So that was really the transition point, right? Once I joined them, I got trained into an ERP product, and I kind of really didn't understood the role of a developer on that particular product. So I kind of raised my concerns to the leadership over there, and they kind of told me, "Can you explore around Salesforce? We want to start up a team. We want to get into the Salesforce projects." But we really don't have anyone who understands Salesforce. So that's where in 2010, I started off my journey with
2010.
Salesforce. Yes. And back then, there was no trailhead. There were not many people whom I knew who were kind of known to this Salesforce as a company or as a product. What do they do, right? What kind of products they deliver, what kind of services they have, right? Nothing of this was known to anyone. So I kind of Googled about it. Very little information was there. Fortunate for me, I got hands-on to recorded training videos and a fundamentals book for Salesforce, which was more about the recruiting app back then, right? So I spent next 3 months studying through those recruitment app, getting myself hands-on. I kind of started liking it because where I came from a .NET developer background, all of this, the click and configuration was really nice, right? And that kind of glued me to this Salesforce world. So I did my first certification on Jan 10, 2011, and since then I've never looked back. I've grown with that company for next 2 years. Did a major implementation, worked with Salesforce CTAs back in 2012, right? So that all of that was great exposure. That kind of set the tone for me to set my career in a very expedite way, where I grew through the ranks, right? And I got a complete, well-rounded consultant level exposure, not just doing the solutioning or doing the development on the platform, but also interacting directly with the client stakeholders, directly talking to the business, talking to the IT stakeholders, right? Providing an end-to-end solution architecture. That kind of helped me to where I am today, right? So that in a brief is how I kind of entered into Salesforce, and it's been a very enriching 13 years for me with Salesforce.
Yeah, it was quite a journey you talked about, like starting from a family of barber, and then you are now attending Dreamforce. So it is quite a journey and very interesting one, right? Yeah. So So yeah, Dreamforce season is here finally. The season we all were waiting for patiently, like the whole year. It is one of the largest and most impressive tech conferences globally happening, and the backward counting has already started. It is just a day away now. So how excited are you about Dreamforce 2023, Rupesh?
Super excited, right, Pooja? I'm actually packing my bags. In 36 hours,
Yeah,
I'll be on a plane to Dreamforce. So
this is
super
so
excited. And I attended my first Dreamforce in 2016. That
cool.
time I was still more of exploring what this carnival is all about, right? What will
Yeah,
I do there, right? So when I first attended, I still remember very vividly that I was like in awe of the carnival that was put out there, right? There were
true.
so many names in the ecosystem, right? I started getting names of the MVPs in India specifically, and few of them from US, right? And I
Yeah,
always looked up to them. Okay, why these folks are being recognized as MVPs? What do they do differently than what I do in my day-to-day job, right? Why have they been called as MVP? So I started networking at the event itself. I still remember, like a fanboy, I went to Shiv, I went to Gaurav Khetapal, I went to
yeah,
a lot of these folks, right, who were kind of looked up to, and I
yeah,
started interacting with them. And my basic understanding back then was, okay, what is that you guys do differently, right? Why
yeah,
have you been recognized as MVPs, and how can I contribute more, right? And through
mhm,
that process, I realized that it's more about what do you know that you think you can share in a best possible manner with your audience, right?
mhm,
And it's not a one time effort, it's a consistent effort. Being persistent with your efforts over the years, that is what will help you build your brand and then get you recognition from Salesforce of being an MVP, right? So yeah,
exactly.
Dreamforce is an annual carnival for me. I always look forward to it. Again, fortunate enough, a lot of gratitude in my mind and heart for me being here and being it's possible for me to travel to that distance, right? I know there are a
Yeah,
lot of folks who want to go, but because
yeah,
of visa issues, because of financials, right, they're not able to make it there. But I will be up there, and I will, for anyone who wants to go there, never lose heart. You will be there one day, right? I know a lot of friends of mine. Last year when I was at Dreamforce, we did a video call so that I can show them how the main keynote looks like, right? So that was something really nice. A
nice.
fellow MVP of mine, Om Prakash,
Yeah,
he always wanted to visit. He couldn't make it because of the visa challenges, and then we did a video call while the main keynote was happening at Dreamforce, and that was a really nice thing where they
yeah.
could really see the vibe of the main keynote, sitting from within their rooms, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's what Salesforce has bring to us now, that we can all sit at home and view all the keynotes via Salesforce Plus. So it is like absolutely amazing. And I sitting here, I can, being a Salesforce lover, I can say that like going to Dreamforce is like a dream for any Salesforce lover. So yeah, of course. And this is like a good thing to think of, like it will be accomplished one day, and you are doing it, and you being excited is me being excited, like yeah, Dreamforce is Dreamforce is here, and you are going there, and you are going to be there and listening to and connecting with everyone. Yeah. So, and you have already shared your first Dreamforce experience. That's what I was going to like ask you for the next thing, like how is there uh anything like you would like to share from your first experience, like how excited, I am pretty sure it was an awesome experience, and how excited you were when you were going to be there for the first time. I think you might have a lot of expectations, or a lot of things you might have already planned that you are going to be there and do. So is there something memorable you would like to share from your first Dreamforce ever? Yeah.
Lot of things, right? But one thing that comes to my mind is it was overwhelming. For anyone who's attending their first Dreamforce, it will be overwhelming, right? The
True.
amount of people that you see around you, right? And especially where I've lived in and I've been brought up in Mumbai, right? We see a lot of people around us on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it was surreal to see something of that nature in US, right? In San Francisco,
Yeah.
with a lot of people around us, right? So that's number one. It was overwhelming, right? Second
Yeah.
is, being my first Dreamforce, I kind of planned a lot of sessions to be attended, right? And by the second day, I kind of realized that this is not going to happen, right? I cannot run around from one session to another and try to be there on time for every
Yeah,
single session that I had planned for. And soon that realization happened, and I was like, okay, I have to take it a bit easy, because this is the entire downtown is kind of covered with the Salesforce, right? So there's Moscone West, Moscone South. There are hotels which are completely booked for Salesforce sessions, right? So you have to run from one location to another to really catch up with your sessions. And
hmm,
as I said, that I was looking up to these MVPs, and I soon realized by the end of the first Dreamforce, right, that the biggest value prop of someone going there and visiting that event is more about meeting and greeting people and getting to know more people outside your own office, outside of your own immediate teams, right? It's a place for networking, right? And that's really the essence of this whole carnival is, right? So don't worry too much about the sessions, because most of the sessions are getting recorded these days and they're available on Salesforce Plus. But
yeah,
make the maximum usage of your time in ensuring that you're meeting people, greeting them, trying to understand what background they're coming from, what kind of role they play on their projects, right? And step up
yeah.
on your network, right?
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true. Absolutely. So, as you said, like the whole downtown is booked. Like Dreamforce is just not the largest conference; it is like the highlighted of the year for all the Salesforce professional. Right? It is happening once in a year in San Francisco, and from what we understand, like it is actually a huge deal for the San Francisco city itself, because while we were researching on the subject, we found that Salesforce practically shuts down San Francisco at this time of the year. It takes over the hotels, cinema halls, baseball stadiums to host attendees from all over the world. We also found out that Dreamforce often coincides with other major events happening in the city. So, what do you think, Rupesh, for someone who might be attending the event for the first time? What I want to understand is like being in such a hodgepodge and rush and so many things happening together in a city. Do we find it challenging in terms of transportation and accommodation like this? Like how attendees navigate the challenge of securing the accommodation? Is it like hard to find a good place to stay at this time of the year in San Francisco? What do you think?
Absolutely hard, right? So it's like the fastest finger first. So I kind of booked my accommodation as soon as the registrations were announced, right? And the best bet in this, as of today, is to book it through the Dreamforce registration site themselves. They have a lot of these hotels which are the rooms are kind of blocked for the Dreamforce attendees. So you get those rooms at a very discounted rates than you would get through your regular sources of booking, right? So
Yeah.
my go-to approach here on is to book it through the Dreamforce registration site itself, right?
Okay.
But if anybody is really struggling, right, then reach out to your network, right? Reach out to people who are
Mhm.
willing to share rooms, or you can find options on Airbnb, right? But
Right.
just take inputs from people who have been there, who understand the city a bit more, because there will be lanes. Because the event happens in the downtown, right? So if you move 3 or 4 blocks here and there, there might be places which might not be there up to the mark, right? So just be cautious in which hotel you're picking up if you're going on your own, right? Talk to people who have been there, stayed there, who understand the city layout very well, right? Which
Right.
places are safe to stay, which places are not safe to stay. uh,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Typically those 4 days, 3 4 days, it's like a carnival, as I said, right? You'll find people all
Yeah.
around you, so it's very safe in those 4 days, right? But if you're arriving early, if you're planning to leave a bit later, right, so then plan out your event in by talking to someone who knows that city well. So that would be my advice to anyone
Mhm.
who's going there on their own and who are trying to visit the city for the first time.
Oh, that is actually a good advice. Talking to people who have already been there and who are going over there and who knows in and out about there is always better to be somewhere you haven't been to. So yeah, absolutely. And what about transportation, Rupesh? Like, are there any transportation tips you would like to would be a great help for people? Like, what do you think would be the best way to reach the venue? Yeah.
So if you're living within the downtown, right?
Yeah.
Within let's say 2 miles. Within 2 miles, I think the best transport is walking, right? Nothing beats walking at Dreamforce than any other transport, because literally the downtown is shut, right? So
Right.
even if you
Yeah.
are taking a cab, the cab would kind of be rerouted through multiple lanes before you reach to your destination, right? So the
Yeah.
best advice we can have is keep walking. And
Mhm.
one of the advice which we normally received whenever somebody is trying to go there for the first time is carry a pair of comfortable shoes. Don't worry about too much of business formals, or like you have to take a business shoes only. It's okay to wear sports shoes. It's okay to wear something which is very comforting, because you'll have to walk a lot. All the
Yeah.
steps, whichever you've been tracking, whichever app is tracking, all of the records are broken during those 4 days of Dreamforce. So
Oh,
be rest assured, there will be a lot of walking. However, I
mhm.
understand the accommodation challenges, right? A lot of people who cannot get into the downtown would stay somewhere near the airport or in Oakland, right? Which are like far away from the downtown. So there are trains available. Like Caltrain is one option which can get you to the downtown pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Second, obviously, cab rides are always an option. But if you're staying in one of the hotels which is available through the Dreamforce registration site, right, they do have
Yeah.
some shuttles going on from some of these hotels to the venue. And there is a
Okay.
schedule for the transport as well, which Dreamforce site will publish for their attendees if you're staying in one of those hotels, right? So
Yeah.
I've used all these options. My first Dreamforce, I was staying in San Jose. I used to travel by train to get to the Dreamforce. Since then, I've stayed near to the downtown, learning from my experiences. I've walked a lot. For any specific project parties or meeting
Mhm.
clients, right? I do take cabs wherever required. But yeah, walking is the best thing that you can do at Dreamforce.
Of course, like with talking to you, and I am understanding this thing. Like walking is the best, and take your shoes, sports shoes. And it just reminded me of Mark Benioff wearing those sneakers with his suit, and it was like the talk of the town that time. Yeah. So yeah, those were actually great. So by now we have gathered this fact that Dreamforce is huge, a huge
Right.
event happening once in a year in San Francisco, bringing people from all over the world, gathering at a place like, talking and connecting with each other, attending events, conferences, parties, after parties, and then we have the Dream Fest, of course. So with
Yes.
all these other amazing things, Dreamforce is also an incredible place to network. You just said, right? And Salesforce has created this amazing, respectable community that enables anyone to easily connect with and build relationships. So, my next question to you is, Rupesh, what do you think, like in the sea of professionals, how can attendees actually identify and connect with the right people who, may align with their goals and interests at Dreamforce? Because there are going to be thousands of people, right? So are there any tips from your experience which would help people in engaging with individuals from different backgrounds and different industries? So yeah.
So obviously, it's a bit awkward to walk up to any new individual and start introducing yourself, right? I mean, that's the innovation like every person would have. Uh,
Hmm.
I am an introvert myself as well, right? But the way you open up in some of these large conferences, right? You first go and visit the trailblazercommunitygroups.com, or go to the Trailblazer community and look out for if there are any events which are planned by MVPs or the group leaders or by the Salesforce themselves to do a small gathering at the event itself. There are a lot of after event parties which happens, which are
Yes.
organized by some of the veteran leaders out there, right? So I know
Yeah.
one which is a Dreamforce Bacon Breakfast, which is done by Eric Dressfield. That's a
Oh,
very popular one. There's uh, uh, there's one which I've never been there, but I think it's called Shindig. It's basically run by someone called Michael Foss.
okay.
I don't know the full name, but it's again a very popular party place where people will go and meet with or network with each other, right? Salesforce Run has a community run. So
Yes.
next Wednesday, I think morning 6 a.m. We are all meeting to do a community run at SFO. So I think getting to know some of these unique places where you can be there and start meeting people, right?
Mhm.
Obviously, if possible, tag along with a friend who has been there, right? If you don't know anyone, reach out to any of the MVPs out there on Twitter or LinkedIn, right? And we would be happy to help anyone who wants to be networked, right? So
Yes.
that those are a few of my tips on how do you basically network with people, right?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of opportunities, to be honest. When you enter into a session, right, you have a room full of people, right? Talk
True.
to people on the right, talk to people on the left before starting the event, after
Yeah.
post the session ends, right? You will find a lot of people from similar backgrounds, from companies there which they have would have worked earlier, or you might find your own colleagues at that event where you would have never met them in person, right? So it's always a lot of discovery would happen at the event, right? So look out for opportunities where you can go and just be part of the people, right? For all
Yeah.
the Indian community, we are doing a ceremony on Monday, 11th
Okay.
of September at 5 p.m. PST in front of the Trailblazer Forest on Moscone West, level 1.
Oh,
This is basically our annual ritual, which, with the help of Kavindra Patel, who is the father of Indian Salesforce community, we
oh,
started off an annual ritual every year at Dreamforce and at TDX, where we have a big Indian flag, and all those who are part of the Indian community, whether they are in India or anywhere else in the world, they all be there to take a picture with the Indian flag, right? And that's really a
oh,
moment of proud and
wow.
lot of people where you can meet from the Indian background, right? So I think the entire Indian community just comes together at that place, and we kind of, so anybody out there who is there going to be at Dreamforce, feel free to join us at that event. It would be awesome to have you all and meet with you all, right? We are working towards getting some of the Salesforce leadership as well to that event, so it would be pretty exciting to see the entire Indian community together at one place.
This is absolutely amazing, and I think there are going to be a lot of, obviously there are going to be a lot of Indians there, and people who are going to be there for the first time. It is an absolutely amazing thing. So yeah, uh, that's amazing. So yeah, Dreamforce, like, yeah, coming to it, Dreamforce always comes with a lot of surprises everywhere. Like, there are always some major announcements made everywhere. So are we expecting some big announcements this year as well, like every year? There is a lot of buzz around GPT and generative AI, so my guess is there is going to be some surprises around this front. What do you think, Rupesh?
Yeah, I mean, it's been branded as the largest AI conference, right, this year. And AI
Yeah.
is the buzz everywhere, right? So, and the theme of Salesforce this year for the entire event is AI, data, and CRM. Where I am specifically focused on is primarily around the whole data cloud and its capabilities and the features that we could take back to enterprise clients. That's really, I'm very intrigued about what all features Salesforce is going to roll out and what are the announcements around data cloud. But in general, right, the theme of the entire event is going to be very AI focused, right? You'll have lots and lots of sessions with AI as the core part of the topic itself, right?
Yeah.
So looking forward to an exciting week of AI content and AI announcements next week, right? And for me, data is going to be the key focus area.
Focus. Yes, yes. Data was the key focus last year as well, because it was announced, Data Cloud was announced. So yeah, I'm expecting a lot of big surprises this year as well. But yeah, it is going to be somewhere around AI only, because we Salesforce is like, I love AI, I love AI all the time right now. So yeah, so I think it will be fun to like wait and watch what happens. So, what do you think, Rupesh? My next question from you would be like, what do you think is the most important reason for a person who should, like, for attending Dreamforce? Like, of course, there are uncountable reasons, right? But what, according to you, is the most important one for someone who might be, attending for the first time, or also for veteran who is like attending for the multiple years? What do you think is the most important reason? Being an MVP, what do you would suggest? Like, yeah.
So I think that the first and foremost is people, right? You'll get to meet people at one place, right? Whether it is from your own company, whether it is from your own region, whether it is anyone from the globe, right? Whoever is associated to Salesforce, in all possibility, given the visa or the financials, right? if those
Yeah.
permit, people would be there, right? So you'll get to meet them live. And most of the times you will kind of look up to people over social channels, right? You don't really get to meet them in person. So this is the event where you can get to meet them in person. That's one. Second is, I know there are a lot of clients also who are equally excited about this event, who kind of come to the event to understand what Salesforce has to offer, what kind of announcements are going to happen in next week, right? So a lot of these client meetings also happen in parallel, right? Apart from people networking and meeting each other. And as I said, lot of after parties, right? So
Yeah.
people should go there to meet people, network, consume a lot of content or announcements at least, and
Yeah.
kind of bookmark which are those topics which should be of interest for your own self, for your individual upskilling, or for
Mhm.
your clients, or for your entire practice, right? Whom you're representing over there. So look out for topics where you can bookmark stuff and then go back and deep dive into those topics, right? So while these announcements are happening, there will be a lot of content also that would come out on Trailhead. There will be courses that will be rolled out. There will be certifications that will be rolled out, right? Yesterday, we just saw two certifications getting announced from Salesforce, right? AI Associate and Data Cloud Consultant. So, a lot of the people who are going to visit are going to take a crack at what AI Associate is all about, what Data Cloud Consultant is all about, right? So, I think people networking, consuming a lot of content, and meeting with your clients, with your colleagues is going to be paramount. That's the value add. And really, I mean, you can consume a lot of this content online as well through Salesforce Plus, right?
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
vibe that you get by meeting people in person, it's like the classic case of Zoom versus in real, right?
Of course.
So
Of course.
nothing can beat an in-person experience.
In person, yeah, that's true. And I think that is the one of the most important reason why every one of us is like wants to go to reinforce at least once, because at the end of the day it is all about like connecting with people and finding a common goal. So yeah, I think that's great. I would say I had a like great discussion about reinforce with you. These were the things I would like to hear from someone who had been attending Dreamforce from a long time now. And I think people are now more excited about it. But the last thing I would ask you, for my audience, especially Rupesh, are there any tips or suggestions you would like to give for people who are attending for the first time, which might enhance their experience there? Like apart from, of course, going to the parties, meeting people, connecting, that's the one thing. If I would be going to the Dreamforce, I would be looking forward to. Yeah, are there any tips you would suggest?
Yeah, so a couple of things, right? First and foremost is get a good pair of shoes, right? Number one,
Yeah.
because it will help in walking. Second is stay hydrated, because you're going to walk a lot, you're going to talk a lot with a lot of people. Having the right amount of hydration is important. So carry a water bottle which you can refill at different locations at the event, and get yourself hydrated. That's another. Third is always be prepared for any kind of weather, because being San Francisco, it might rain, it might go very chilly, right? So the weather
Oh,
is a bit unpredictable. Look out for weather forecasts and plan your trip accordingly. Ensure you're getting a lot of warm clothes as well, just in case if you had to use them, or carry an umbrella as well, just in case if it rains, right? So
yes.
take care of yourself, because if you get down, the entire effort of going to SFO and
Yeah.
enjoying the whole experience of 4 days is not going to be worth it, right? So take good care of yourself first, right? And help out others, right? I think those are two things which I would always recommend people, right? It's a carnival at the end of the day. A lot of people are there to explore, to have fun, to meet and greet people. So be kind to them, help them out if somebody is asking for directions, or if they are alone, try to network with them, right? So be proactive, and help out each other. Those are the couple of things which I would like to share with anyone who is trying to be there for the first time. And yeah,
Yeah.
if you see me around, don't forget to say hi to me.
Yes, 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 of course. And I like one of the thing I would like to highlight here, which you said, like yes, MVPs like you, Rupesh, are always there to help. So anybody who is attending for the first time, or maybe for the second or third time as well, but they are like going alone, and they can always reach out to you guys. And MVPs are always there to help people around. So yeah, that's something which is the highlight, I would say. Anybody going can connect with Rupesh here, and yeah, say hi to Rupesh from my side as well. So it was a great conversation with you, Rupesh. I had so many things to take away from this session, and I think my guests and my, like, viewers all they also had so many things to take away from you. And now we just cannot wait to Dreamforce from Salesforce Plus, because we are not going. So yeah, thank you so much, Rupesh. It was a great conversation, and we would like to have you again. Please don't forget to share in stories and videos and pics from your end with Force Talks. So yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you, Pooja, for having me. It was wonderful talking to you. Right.
yeah,
Looking forward to an exciting week ahead. And yeah, definitely there will be a lot of pictures and videos that would be posted on the social media as well. So
yeah, yeah,
stay
yeah,
tuned.
yeah. Have fun, and have a safe journey as well.
Sure.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again.